Hello, welcome to my tutoring YouTube channel. My name is Mr. Peña. Today we're going to be learning about finding the distance between 2 points in the coordinate plane. But before we get started, I want to offer you something for free. Do you know how you learn or how your child learns? Take a look at my learning style inventory. I want to send this to you for free. It's available in my Patreon membership. But don't worry, this is the free version of the membership. This determines what type of intelligence you have. It's like a checklist, and you fill out the checklist, and at the end of the checklist, you fill out a chart, and then it turns into a graph. This will propel you in your learning abilities. So just join my Patreon to get exclusive content, downloadable resources such as this, and a private invitation to my WhatsApp group for math homework. So you get homework help through this WhatsApp group. I hope to see you in the community. Now, we're going to find the distance in the coordinate plane. And so what it gives us are 2 points. We have 10 and 10, and then 5 and -2. So this is x and y, and then x1 and y1, because we're going to call this point 1. And then this is going to be our second point. So x2, y2. Remember that the x-axis is the part of the coordinate plane that goes left and right. The y-axis is the part of the coordinate plane that goes up and down. Now, since we have that, we can plot point 1, which is 10 units to the right and 10 units up. 1. Ten and 10. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It matches. It's a match. And now we're going to plot 5 and -2. So 5 units to the right because it's positive, 2 units down because it's negative. Now we want to determine the distance between these 2 points. What we can do is count the units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this over here is 12 units. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 units. That's not going to work for the hypotenuse. But what we have now is a triangle. Actually, a right triangle. So in a right triangle, such as this one, we have A, B, and C. Our A in this case would be 5. Our B in this case would be 12. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between those 2 points. We already said that our A is 5 squared. So 5 squared plus 12 squared, which is our B, equals C squared. So far, so good. Now we have 5 times 5, which is 25, 12 times 12, which is 144, equals C squared. And we simply add 144 plus 25, which is 169, equals C squared. And so we're left with finding the square root The opposite of squaring a number is square rooting it. Is that even a verb? The opposite of the square of a number is the square root. So we have the square root of 169, which is 13. So 13 equals C. So this triangle, let's draw it in red, is 13, 5, and 12. So the distance between these 2 points, there you go. The distance between these 2 points is 13 units. Pretty good. So this is one method of finding the distance in the coordinate plane. We're also going to use something called the distance formula. The distance formula. So we're going to take the same points. Why don't I snap a picture? Now let's just say you don't have the coordinate plane, but we do have the distance formula. The distance formula goes like this. You have d, which represents distance, equals the square root of x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. So let's draw the formula in a way that we can plug in the numbers. So we will leave these open spaces. To the power of 2, y2 minus y1 to the power of 2. And that's why I said this is 0.1 and this is 0.2 from the beginning. We have x2, which is 5, x1, which is 10, y2, which is negative 2, and we have y1, which is 10. So what is 5 minus 10? Negative 5. So negative 5 squared. So negative 5 squared, what's negative 5 times negative 5? That's 25. We're going to keep going. Negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12. And what's negative 12 times negative 12? 144. So the distance is the square root of 169. And if you were here for the previous problem, you would see that the square root of 169 is 13. So the distance between the 2 points is 13 units. So if you have the coordinate plane, you can do the Pythagorean theorem, or you could use the distance formula. These are two methods of finding the distance between 2 points. Now for our next problem, which says, find the distance between the points negative 2, 4, and negative 10. So we have 2 points. We'll call this point 1, and we'll call this point 2. So x and y, x and y. We have -2, so that goes left and down. -2 and -2. We also have +4 and -10. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now we don't have to draw a straight line to start with. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 units. And we also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 units. So we're going to call this 8. And we're going to draw a line straight through. So now we have a right triangle once again. And we're trying to determine C. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between those 2 points. So if we flip the triangle forward, we can see that although A and B are both on the left side, so this isn't really a problem. So we flip it forward and we'll see that 8 is actually A, if I'm looking at it correctly. And then 6 is actually B, and then we're trying to determine C. So we have 8 squared, which is 8 times 8, which gives us 64, 6 squared, which gives us 36, and then C squared. Now, we're going to do 64 plus 36, which is 100. So 100 equals C squared. What's the opposite of a square? A square root. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 squared is 25. Square root of 25 is going back to 5. So that's why we square both sides. We're just working backwards from the beginning. From the end. We're doing the inverse. So we have C being equal to 10. So the distance is 10 units. The distance between these 2 points is 10 units. That's another way to do this. So now we're going to also use the distance formula, which is something else that we need to know. So we have point 1, so x1, y1, point 2, so x2 and y2. Now I'm going to bring this picture over to a blank canvas. And once again, we're going to borrow this picture so I can take down the distance formula. If you're taking a state test and you're in K through 2, if you're around the 7th or 8th grade, you should have this in your reference sheet. At least we do in Florida. So, distance equals square root of these 2 numbers and these 2 numbers. And so we're going to subtract. x2 is 4, x1 is -2. y2 is -10, y1 is -2. Already, we're going to turn these into positives. When you subtract by a negative, you're just going the opposite way. So we have the distance being the square root of, 4 plus 2, which is 8 squared. -10 plus 2 being -8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64. -8 times -8 is positive 64. So we get the square root of 128. That's why. 4 plus 2 is 6 squared. My apologies. Let's try that again. 6 times 6 is 36. Negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. 64 plus 36 gives us 100. Whew. I'm like, what's going on there? Okay, so we have the square root of 100. The square root of 100 is 10. So the distance is 10 units. The distance between point 1 and point 2 is 10 units. This is how you find the distance between 2 points. We use the Pythagorean theorem, or we use the distance formula. Both are perfectly acceptable ways to find the distance between 2 points. Remember, try to write this down in a flashcard and save it somewhere. The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The distance formula is distance equals x2 minus x1, my apologies, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. Yes. So use this to determine the distance between 2 points. I hope this video has helped you. If you want to learn more, join my Patreon. You will get several resources. Another downloadable resource is a goal setting worksheet. You can download this and then write it electronically. Steps to your goal, write down the goal, and a couple of reflection questions. Join my Patreon for free, and you'll get downloadable resources, math help through a WhatsApp group, and exclusive content for all my learners. Good luck with your mathematics. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Okay, so we're doing now a math help portion of this live stream. Session 1 of the live stream is mathematics. Session 2 is going to be learning English as a second language. And session 3 is going to be religion and philosophy. So this person was in a Facebook group and they submitted this problem. Hello, I want to help you with your math problem. It says to find the values of x and find the values of y. So we have x and we have y. First, I want to mention that PVS, this angle, is equal to 90 degrees. Right here, you can see it. PVS, it's 90 degrees. So 36 plus 5x plus 4x, right? These three, 5x, 36 degrees, and 4x, which is really small, that's why they put it a little bit on the outside, all equal 90 degrees. So because there's two x's, we're actually going to find x first. So we have 5x plus 4x, which is 9x. 36 plus 9x equals 90. And so we're going to subtract both sides by 36. And we get 9x equals 90 minus 36, which is 54. After that, we're going to divide both sides by 9. And we get x equals 54 divided by 9, which is 6. So in this case, x is equal to 6. Now that helps us a lot. And we're running out of space. So give me one moment to move this somewhere else. If you can't see it because it's too small, just, feel free to rewind the video. I'll leave that right here. So P, V, and S is still 90 degrees. It doesn't change. And so X is now 6. Because X is 6, I want you to look at what I'm going to highlight in green. 5X and whatever is going on here. Oh, 3Y. So these are adjacent angles. That means they equal the same measurement of degrees. So we have 5x equal to 3y. See that right there? That's what they're telling you. They have the same value. They equal the same thing. So because we have x, we can simply input 6 for x, and we get 3y. So 5 times 6, which is 30, equals 3y. Divide both sides by 3, and you will get y equal to 30 divided by 3, which is 10. So our x value, our y value is now 10. And from there, we're good. We don't really need to do anything else. These are the steps needed to find x and to find y. I hope this has helped you. If you want more math help, join my membership using the link down below on Patreon. You'll get downloadable resources, exclusive content, and you can join a WhatsApp group where I offer homework help for free. You can just send a picture in and I'll respond with a video as soon as possible. Good luck with your mathematics studies. Goodbye. Hello? Hello? Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Okay, everything's working. Just wanted to make sure. The lighting right now is terrible. Please forgive me. So I might just want to do this like this for today because with the way where I am right now, I have no control. The streaming is better at night. We are practicing our English. We are now currently in the English conversation portion of our live stream. This is this is call in based, okay? But right now we're going to be doing Inglés Ahora podcast. We are working on episode 8. Episode 8 is about transportation. We are working on transportation. We have about 14 vocabulary words on transportation. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I want to show us. Let's take out this what's up. So I'm going to show you guys now what I have in the works. Saving this now as a PDF. As you can see, episode 8 is on transportation. So the topic of today is transportation. If anybody wants to call in, the link is starred down below. The link is favored down below in the chat. All right. Now, going on to there. I hope you can see the call-in. There you go. Boarding pass. Yes, I hope you can see the vocabulary. Right, so far we have Aprende Inglés Ahora podcast. And then we're gonna go over transportation. We're gonna learn how to ask for directions, how to use public transportation. Can I write on this? Ooh, I can write on this. Awesome. Without my finger. No, even with the finger. Okay. And to discuss travel plans. That's going to be today's podcast topic. And we're going to have these vocabulary words, which is route, transit, itinerary, transfer, timetable, platform, connection, fare, terminal, commute, map, stop, destination, and boarding pass. If anybody would like to call in, you're free to call in. The link is down below. If you're just joining us, this is Mr. Peña. I teach you how to learn English one step at a time. This is my podcast. So I'm going to begin and say hello. Because this is going to become a recording after. Hello, welcome to Aprende Inglés Ahora podcast, where we learn English one step at a time. If you want to practice your English and become my virtual student, join my Patreon using the link down below. When you join my Patreon, you'll get access to exclusive content, downloadable resources, and an invitation to my private WhatsApp group, where we have voice calls almost every day to practice our English with other English learners. And on my Patreon, you'll get downloadable resources such as my 10-day English grammar guide. You can learn English grammar in 10 days. Just 10 minutes a day going through each subject. All for free when you join the free Patreon version using the link down below. Now let's talk about transportation. The goal of today is to learn how to ask for directions, to use public transportation, and to discuss travel plans. Hopefully we have a caller who can call in and talk to us about these topics, or I'll teach you how to talk about these topics. But even if we don't, here we have route. We have the word route. We have the word transit, itinerary, transfer, timetable, platform, connection, fare, terminal, commute, map, stop, destination, and boarding pass. Now I'm going to highlight it, and I want you to repeat it. I want you to repeat after me. Route, transit, itinerary, transfer, timetable, platform, connection, boarding pass, destination, stop, map, commute, terminal, and fare. Very good. Now we go on to the first word, which is route. A route is a path or course taken to reach a destination. For example, when planning a trip, you might decide on the best route to get from one place to another. Here's an example. We took a scenic route through the countryside. So remember that this is a path or a course. This is like a direction that we take. So we go here and then here and then here. That will be considered a route. Yeah. And so when we plan a trip, we want to choose the best route to get from one place to another. So routes take you from point A to point B. Routes take you from point A to point B. That's what we mean by a route, a path or a course. Now we move on to the next one, which is transit. It says the term transit generally refers to the act or process for moving from one place to another. So this is the process, how we go from one place to another. It can be both used as a noun or a verb. So, for example, we have, I take public transit to work every day. We have public transit, such as a bus or a train, maybe even a helicopter. And then we have private transit, which is like a car. So basically, transit is the form or method of transportation, going from one place to another. Now we have itinerary. On the right, we have an example of an itinerary. day one, day 10, or day one, day two, day three, day four. Here we have what to do. We have the arrival of the flight. This is a travel itinerary, what we use to travel and what we know where to go. The duration of the stay, how long. The term itinerary refers to a detailed plan or schedule. So it's a detailed plan on paper, a formal plan that's called an itinerary. Refers to a detailed plan or schedule of a journey, trip, or event, including information about the places to be, the timing of activities, and other relevant details. So we have also another relevant detail is the budget. We do want to know about the budget. The budget is how much it costs. That will be in the itinerary. So we plan our trips with a budget. But the itinerary includes a budget. An itinerary includes where you're going to stay, what are you going to use, a car, or you're going to use a bus or a train. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. I would love to help you and answer and get to your question. So now we go to transfer, which is movement from one place to another. In transportation, a transfer refers to the act of moving. Okay, so just moving itself, you're being transferred. If you mail something in the mail, that's transferring. So the act of moving from one place to another, often involving a change from one mode of transportation to another. Example, I have a transfer at the airport, switching from a domestic flight to an international one. So a transfer, you are going from one airplane trip to another. Next, we have what we call a timetable. Notice in the timetable, if you're looking at the video, you have departure and you have arrival. So a timetable in the context of transportation refers to a schedule or plan that outlines the departure and arrival times. It's sort of like an itinerary, but it's public for everyone to know. And it tells you about the times and arrivals of vehicles or ships. Timetables are essential for travelers and commuters. It provides information on where the transportation services are available, and they should have written it here, but when it's available. Not just where, but when as well. This tells us the essential information we need to know in order to get from point A to point B, and when. It's really mostly about when. It's not so much about where. So I want to take that out. Here we have a platform. So it refers to a designated area where passengers can board or arrive from vehicles. That's not a word. I'm not even sure what that is. Can board or depart from vehicles. The word there should have been depart. A platform is what we use to get onto something like an airplane or to get off of an airplane. That's a platform. Oh, we also have connection. The word connection, it's where one mode of transportation links or intersects with another. One mode, it's sort of like an expressway. You can go from one expressway to another through a connection, or you go from one area of airport to another through a little connection. Establishing efficient transportation connections is crucial for creating a network. So connections are these interrelated mingling of systems. And so a street, an intersection, is basically a connection. You have an intersection. So you have like 6th Avenue, but then 6th Avenue is connected to 10th Street. They're connected. They're together. They intersect. You can go from avenue to street at the intersection. So intersections refer to airplanes or railroads. Fare. In the context of public transportation and taxi services, fare refers to the amount of money paid for a journey. The fare is basically the cost of your trip. It varies based on factors. So a fare can be a lot of money or a little bit of money. So the bus fare from downtown to the suburbs is $2.50. That is considered a cheap fare. What's the fare? How much it costs. That's pretty cheap, actually. Now, an expensive fare would be like $20 for like 3 miles. That's expensive. Ooh, terminals. Every airport has terminals. It's how you get onto the airport. Terminals is how you get onto the airport. And you can see a picture of a terminal there on the bottom. A terminal is a facility where vehicles arrive and depart. It is often associated with airports, bus stations, train stations, and ferry terminals. Passengers typically use terminals for boarding, disembarking, and transferring. So they go through terminals to get on to sections of the airport and to board them. So we will meet at the airport terminal before our flight. So Terminal A, there's Terminal B, Terminal C. They like to name terminals in chronological order. Yes, our next word is commute, or commute. This is how you say it, commute. Daily travel to work. That's the essential definition. Daily travel to work. A commute involves traveling from one's residence to a place of work or study and then returning home. My daily commute to the office takes about 45 minutes by train. To the office. You have a commute to work and you have a commute from work. A commute to work and a commute from work. How is your commute? Is your commute on a car? Is your commute on a plane? Do you commute every day on a car? So on and so forth. Next is map. A map is a visual representation or depiction of an area, typically showing geographical features, cities, roads, and other elements. So our word for this slide is map. Maps have features, cities, roads, and other elements. Maps are used to convey spatial relationships and information. So maps just give us information about places. People use maps to navigate, to go where they need to go. We also have stop. This is not the verb to stop. It is, I'll meet you at the stop. It is the place. So the term stop refers to a designated location where a vehicle, such as a bus, train, or tram, comes to a halt to pick up or drop off passengers. So we go to the most common reference to the word stop is a bus stop. I will meet you at the bus stop. The bus stop, you pick up passengers and you drop off passengers. And stops usually have a map which show you their system. Remember the word destination? Where someone or something is headed. That is your destination. Remember, this was the word route. The manner in which you are going to somewhere. Where you end up is called the destination. So there is a difference between route and destination. Where you end up is the destination. And our last word of the day is boarding pass, which is a document. You see the boarding pass right here in the picture? This is essentially a legal document. So that only if you have this document, you can ride the train. It allows a passenger to board a flight. This boarding pass is a proof of purchase for the flight and includes information about the passenger, who you are, the process, and where you're going. So these are our this is Aprende Inglés Ahora podcast, where we learn about the essentials of transportation. If you like what I'm doing and you want to learn English with me, join my Patreon. You'll get exclusive access to downloadable resources, weekly and daily content just for my patrons, and an invitation to my WhatsApp group. You want to practice English, join my WhatsApp group. I hope to see you in the community. Goodbye and take care. Blessings and good luck with your English.